So we've got the Guardia Civil boats sort of lurking around the bay. They seem more interested in the jet skis at the moment. We're more than 12 miles away from the port that we left during lockdown, which in itself is not bad because we're still in the same province, but I think we're in the third phase of lockdown, which means we can't leave the province, and technically we're still in the province. Our passports haven't arrived, so if they do a random check and we haven't got passports, we could be in serious trouble. So we're a bit nervous and we're trying to keep a low profile. They seem more interested in the jet skis at the moment, but there's nothing to say that they won't come and start asking for papers and passports.
You and me, we're family. The bond that we share is as deep as the sea. No matter how rough things may come to be, you and me, we're family. Sing ho, hey, along for the ride. Ho, hey, I'll stay by your side.
So if you remember in the last episode, we stayed in this bay through some very high winds, and now that it's calmed down a bit, we decided to go into the nearest town to explore again, and also we needed to upload a video. Going into town. We couldn't do schooling on the boat this morning because it was too rolly, so we're going to do the big hike into the nearest town over these mountains, and then we're going to sit in a cafe and do it there. And the other thing we need to do also is upload a video. It's not very good Wi-Fi, so we need to go and find a cafe so we can upload.
And I finished my school.
Yeah, you finished yours. What did you have to do today?
Lengua, Mathematicas y English, and I got to make my own life cycle of water out of plasticine.
We've just walked round to San Jose, which is the nearest little town, and it's like a little kind of holiday village really. I think if you wanted a really quiet Spanish holiday, this is the sort of place you'd come to. I mean, it's extra sleepy because it's weekdays, and obviously the lockdown is still kind of in place really, but yeah, it looks quite cute really. There's a little harbour over there, and some cafes. We'll probably try and find a nice little cafe and carry on with our homeschooling.
Tapas.
And have tapas.
Greetings, fellow human.
And then we decided to leave the bay that evening and sail north just to avoid the next bout of strong winds, but not before we got the Optimist out and see if we could sail it faster than the Happy Cat. So we're going to pick up our anchor, we take the snubber off, and we're heading further up north. It's a bit sad to leave this place because we love this bay. It's really cool. We've had a lot of fun here, but there's a lot of wind coming, and when there's a lot of wind coming here, you can't really get off the boat. So we're just going to be stuck here lots of days without being able to get on shore. So we're going to head north. We've had a good time here, and we're going to go and find a bit more shelter. We're going to be discreet with our AIS turned off so that it doesn't look too obvious that we've crossed provinces, which you're not really allowed to do yet. But yeah, it should be a good sail. We're going to go probably tonight and tomorrow, and then we should be there. Right, there's a little bit of wind. It's kind of broad reach, so because we want to make the most of our genoa, which is our biggest sail on this boat. We get the pole out, and then we just pole out the genoa, and it gives it a really good surface area and holds it in place. So first of all, we've got to get the pole out, and then we get genoa out.
Sail
on a broad reach at the moment, so the Genoa is out full. And so as not to block the Genoa, we've kept the mainsail away, but we've put the mizzen out. But sort of counterintuitively, it's slowed us down. I'm not quite sure why, because it's not shadowing the Genoa, but maybe it's trying to force the back end of the boat, maybe it's trying to round up a bit, I don't know. Never quite figured out the mizzen sail. It's a bit of a dark art, I think.
Right, so the other important thing is when we go on passage is to get our hairstyles sorted out. So Rowan has her special passage hairstyle that keeps it all together and intact and tidy until we reach our destination. Passage hairstyle. So when we're underway, I either prepare meals beforehand or I just do something really simple. So today I'm just doing linguine with a kind of spinach, smoked salmon, mushroom, onion and creamy sauce made with cream cheese. And it's really quick to do and doesn't use much gas and really sort of plain and easy to eat when we're on passage.
It's salmon, but we haven't caught any.
So it's twice we nearly caught birds on the fishing rod and
So we're all trying to stay cozy in our hoodies. Are we cozy?
Yeah.
And I've got my slippers on too. So it's 1 o'clock and it's my turn to come and watch. I didn't really sleep much for the first 3 hours, but then I never really do on the first night sail. We're doing good speed. We're doing a good 7 knots average, and the wind's about 16 knots of wind. So yeah, it's really good. It's going to pick up a bit, but otherwise it's pretty good.
So my turn on watch. It's about 3:30 and this is our first night watch of the season, and we're running from the wind. Cabo de Gata was going to have about 50 knots of gusts, and having survived the previous couple of nights at less than that, we decided to get out there. The only thing is that the wind is funneling right up the east coast of Spain, and it's coming from the south. There's very few anchorages which are sheltered from the south. So we're going to go sort of 24 hours up the coast, heading for Xavier or Denier, if we can get there, if the winds take us all the way there, which they should. We're doing good speed, and the wind is supposed to pick up later on as well. I've got another 2.5 hours on watch, and that should bring us up through dawn and into the next day.
It's just gone 7 in the morning, and I slept really well on that last sleep, so I didn't want to get up. But here we are in the morning. The wind's dropped, but we're goose winging, so we've got both our mainsail and our full Genoa out, and we're going at nearly 5 knots with about 6 knots of apparent wind speed. We've put the mizzen away because it tends to just slam about, and it's just annoying really. So that's Cartagena over there. We've passed that now and we're in the next gulf heading up towards Javier. It's about 11 o'clock and Woody's still asleep, so he's getting a good sleep. But yeah, at last the wind's picked up. For between 7 and 11 there was literally hardly any wind, and we're going about 3 knots, but it's picked up, so we're going nearly 5 knots now, so that's nice. You caught any fish yet?
No, but one of them I'm kind of dreading if something snatches the line, because it might be something like a dolphin or a bird, so I'm a bit scared as well.
Yeah, some of these tankers, they seem so top heavy. Yeah, I think if the sea was rough, I'm sure some of those would fall off, some of those crates.
So we're heading up the east coast of Spain, and it's quite a popular route for shipping containers going from southern Europe through the Straits of Gibraltar. Now the only thing is we're in the third stage of lockdown, which means we can travel around our own province but not go between provinces. But because of the wind, we've had to move on. We've been in contact with other cruisers in the area, and they have been crossing provinces but staying at anchor, which according to some sources is okay as long as you're on transit to somewhere. But as we're not clear on the exact rules, we and a lot of other cruisers around here decided to turn our AIS off, which means we're kind of flying blind a bit and having to resort to the old-fashioned methods of navigation and avoiding big boats. At the moment we've got container ships and tankers crossing us about every 10 minutes. Visibility is excellent, so we can see them coming from maybe about 4 miles away. But it's a bit nerve-wracking because in the distance it looks like they're coming straight for you, and we're actually going against the flow of traffic. So we're getting tankers passing either side, and then we've got to dart across the shipping lane to get into the mainland of Spain.
Yeah, so the wind's picked up and it's going up to force 5. We've still got the full genoa out, and I've put a reef in the main. We always argue about putting a reef in the main. Woody never wants to reef and I always do. So it creates a bit of tension on the boat. But even with one reef in the main, we're still doing over 8 knots at this speed. So we could probably even put another one away and still do just as fast, because on this boat, it's the genoa really that makes us sail. And for me, I don't like having the main out because I'm always worried about the jibe, the accidental jibe, and damaging the mainsail. But yeah, it's kind of 2 skippers on the boat, it makes it really difficult.
What are you playing with you? I'm playing, there's this person and he owns a cafe with like pigs. This person is like kind of like a burglar. He used to be a burglar, then he used to be a person whoever tries to attack. Now he's a person whoever tries to attack him, he steals their money.
We are just approaching Altea now. It's getting on towards 6 o'clock, so it's a good time to go and get some shelter for the night, and then we'll carry on the last 20 miles tomorrow.
So we're just coming into Altea now. We're actually here at the beginning of the year when my dad came to Benidorm, and we went for a walk with some of our friends, Graham and Jane. We walked to the top of that peninsula there, and we looked down on the boats here, and we thought it was a beautiful anchorage, and just coincidentally we've ended up here. So we're going to pick up a mooring buoy and sit it out for a day, and then carry on our journey tomorrow.
Shout distances and if you need to go to port or starboard.
20 metres.
20 metres, about
10 metres.
10.
A little bit to starboard because we'll get blown down on it anyway.
A little bit to starboard because we'll get blown down.
Stop.
Stop! Seriously?
Okay.
Okay.
The percentage for this.
So it's just before 8:30 in the morning, and there were some voices outside the boat, and when I looked out it was the Coastguard, and they were circling the boat and taking pictures. I think we're kind of adopting the policy of it's probably best not to talk to the authorities in Spain at the moment, because some guys seem to be okay and some seem to be throwing the book at people. So even though technically we've moved between provinces, we're still on the boat and haven't gone ashore, and so technically we're living by the rules, but that is obviously dependent on who you talk to and who interprets the rules. So we're just keeping a low profile, and hopefully they'll leave. So we just had the Coast Guard over to us again, and this time they called us out of the boat, and we thought, uh-oh, because we haven't got any passports and we've crossed provinces. But actually they were really nice. They were just more concerned about the boat, because it does look a bit odd that we tied the back of the boat onto the buoy last night, because there was some weird swell, which meant no matter where we tied the boat up, the buoy was getting sucked under the boat and just banging and scraping at the gel coat. So we kind of strapped it to the back fender, and they just came up to us and said it was probably best if we just put a rope through it. But we're heading off in about an hour anyway, so we seem quite fine. So we seem to have the all clear from the Coast Guard anyway. Think of worse locations to have a shave.
Here we're going to speak about Cabo de Gata and 3G and all the other bays that have 3G. When it hasn't got 4G to fight it off, it's always spreading.
So thanks for watching, and thanks in particular to our patrons who make these videos possible. Without your support, they wouldn't happen.
No matter how rough things may come to be, you and me, we're family. Sing ho.
We would really love to hear from you, so you could go over to the Patreon page or even the Facebook page and leave comments there.
Hey, you'll always be